So it's important to know when it's good to be assertive, the good assertive and the bad assertive. So being assertive is helpful when you come across as gentle, warm, and warm in this instance would be welcoming or very friendly and open. Collaborative, so that would be wanting to work with the person and not just telling them what to do, but wanting to work with them. And this is, that G looks funny. Well, all of it looks funny. You give as much as you take. So that means you should be, if you're being assertive about what you want or what you wanted to communicate, you have to also be that person that is generous and will always help that person with their problems. If you don't help other people with their problems or try to listen to them, then being assertive can fall into not being helpful. So if you're going to be assertive, you have to make sure that you're also providing help when you're asking for help. When being assertive is not helpful, if you're pushy, that'd be demanding, like do this, do this, do this, do this, over and over. Demanding too often. And the last one, it's not helpful if you never give back. So if you're the person that's always demanding that you get, but you never give back, then being assertive is not going to be helpful. So now this is now we're to the point of what you say. Say. And you can remember that it's called dear. This is how you can remember it, dear. D stands for describe. So, describe the situation. So, if you're with somebody, you're upset with them or they're upset with you, you describe the situation. Facts only. For example, like Irene comes home late, so I'd say, Irene, you told me you were going to be home from dinner, but you didn't come home until midnight. So you see how I said that? I just said the facts. I said, Irene, you told me you come home from dinner, but you weren't home until midnight. Another example would be, it's hard for me to keep asking you to clean the kitchen. Another one would be, I have obligations and I don't have time to work in my aunt's garden. I have work obligations, I don't have time to work. I don't have time to work in the aunt's garden. So you're just describing the exact facts, what's happening, and why you're upset about the situation. So that's the D. The E is express. This is the important part. Express. The E is express your feelings and opinions. Now this goes back to the perception I was talking about earlier. Because this person that's just made you upset, Irene, she told me she'd be home for dinner. She didn't come home till midnight. Well, I have to tell her, and she's probably thinking, well, why is Greg so upset about this? This is where you have to express your feelings, so you let the person know what they did has kind of made you upset. So, you would say, Irene, you said you'd be home for dinner, but you came home at midnight. And to express my feelings, I would say, when you come home late, I start worrying about you. So you express how their actions made you feel. So I worry. In the case of cleaning the kitchen, it's hard for me to keep asking you to clean the kitchen. You'd say, I start feeling angry and unappreciated when you don't help me clean the kitchen. So this is all about you expressing your feelings and opinions to the person. And it's a pretty important step because that helps them go, oh, I see how my actions impact your feelings. Because they're not going to know that. Other people don't know your feelings. You think they should know your feelings, but they don't. You think other people should know your feelings, but they really don't. So it's important to express your feelings. But you only do that after you've described the facts. And the A is for assert. Assert what you want. So we're describing what happened. We're expressing how you felt, how that made you feel. And the next point is to assert what you want to happen going forward. So this is the part where you want the person to change their behavior. So let's use Irene coming home late again. So it would be, Irene, you told me you'd be home for dinner, but you came home at midnight. Just the facts. Express yourself. When you come home late, I start to worry. And then assert what you want to happen is, when you're going to be late, please call me so I know that you're safe. So this is the action that you want to happen. And then for the example of the kitchen, you would use, to assert yourself, you would say, I want you to help me clean the kitchen at least 5 times a week. So this is where you assert what you want. In the case of not helping somebody in the garden, you'd say, I need you to respect that I have limited time for myself due to my busy work schedule. And I'm not able to help Auntie in the garden on the weekends because it's only my time to get my garden finished. And the last part is reinforce. Which is you have to have a reward. So facts, how I feel, what I want, and what I will do for you if you do what I want. So we'll use the example of Irene coming home late again. Irene, you told me you would be home for dinner, but you weren't home till midnight. It makes me worry when you come home late. I want you to at least call before you, if you're going to come home late. Reinforce the reward would be, I would be much easier to live with and more kind to you if you'd come home for dinner, or if you call me if you're going to be late. In the situation of the dinner, so it's hard for me to keep asking you to clean the kitchen. And then I start feeling angry and unappreciated when I clean the kitchen all the time for you. I want you to start cleaning the kitchen at least 5 times a week. The reward for that is I will cook you a special meal once a week if you do this for me, if you help me clean the kitchen 5 times a week. So that's a deer. And then, oh, I wish I had another board, but I have to erase this. Well, here, I'll leave that up there. And then, so that's what you say, and this is how you say it. So this deer, so this is how I remember it. It's kind of backwards here, but deer, man. So this is what you say. So this is the easy, you have to think deer, man. And this is how to say it. So you're saying the M, so how you say it is just the way you need to be acting and the way you need to be thinking when you're saying these things. So the M in man, be mindful, so you have to remain calm, keep your position, and if it deteriorates like it does so often, arguments deteriorate into maybe somebody yelling, the other person yelling. You have to just remember to remain calm and remain with your views. So the only thing you do in this mindfulness, if they become argumentative, is to remain calm and just restate your position, which is back here. You just have to go through this again and again. Even though the other person is starting to get upset and argue, you continue just to go through your deer. The A is for appear confident. So you should always be using a confident tone in your voice. You shouldn't be yelling, and you should be also using a confident body position. So if you're trying to express yourself here, you shouldn't be like bent over or looking down. You really have to work on eye contact, which is kind of hard, I think, here sometimes. So eye contact can be a way you can express your confidence. And then the last part is N, stands for negotiate. So you can feel free to compromise if the argument is going on. You can, a great way to help somebody that's being really upset with you is to offer other solutions. Have them offer the solutions to you. Like, what would you want? If they say, I don't want to clean the kitchen. I don't want to help clean the kitchen. And I don't care if you cook me a nice meal. Then in this situation you would say, well, what would you feel is fair, or what would it take for me to have you help me clean the kitchen? And maybe you'll have to say, instead of help me 5 times a week, maybe you'll have to go down to 4 or 3. But the N stands for negotiating those. So, with that, I think we should have a scenario where we practice. Or what we can do, we can break up into 2 teams. And then I'll give you a scenario. And one team will be the person that is practicing the deer, is doing the deerman, and the other team is the person that is not doing what one team wants. So this will be this 4 people here. These will be the people that are going to be practicing the deerman. So you're the people that want something. You want these people to change their behavior. And this will be the scenario. So let's see, there's 2 scenarios. We can choose which one you think is best. So this group is a friend that wants money to fix their motorcycle. However, you need that money to fix your own motorcycle.